This video reached you for a reason. Maybe it feels like coincidence, but hear me. Perhaps God placed this video in your path right now to interrupt the cycle that's been holding you back. Don't swipe away. Stay with me for a few minutes. This may be the exact word you needed to hear at this moment. Look at yourself for a second, not just with your eyes, but with that feeling in your chest. Have you seen a face in the mirror that you barely recognize? The same eyes, but different hope. The same smile, but smaller. Maybe you've been carrying years of regret like an old, heavy coat. You think, if only I had started sooner. If only I hadn't said those things. If only I hadn't walked away. You count the time lost, and it seems impossible to recover. Listen, that guilt is a liar. I want to name the truth plainly because truth can hurt before it heals. You have wasted time. You have made choices that brought pain. You have said no to opportunities, stayed silent when you should have spoken, and shuffled through days as if your life were a paused movie. This is not to shame you. It's to bring the wound into the light so it can begin to heal. Pain before healing, confession before change. But I also want to say this clearly. Your mistakes do not finish your story. They do not disqualify you from God's merciful work in your life. They are not the final chapter unless you let them be. Too often we replay our failures again and again like a broken record. Replay feeds paralysis. Replay steals your courage. Stop giving the past more voice than your future. Here is the hard, loving challenge. Do not let what happened to you, or what you did, define who you will be today. You cannot rewrite yesterday's pages, but you can choose how you will write the next one. The definition of you is not determined by a single misstep, a season of poor decisions, or the opinions that have accumulated around your failures. What matters now is your response in the present. Listen, this is not easy. Healing is not magic. Restoration often looks like slow, boring, small steps, the kind of steps that don't make anyone's highlight reel, but change the course of a life. Courage is not absence of fear. It's moving forward despite fear. Courage is showing up when your legs shake. Courage is taking one imperfect step today toward the thing your heart knows you need. Imagine dust on an old coat. It's been there for years. You could either fold that coat into a dark corner and never wear it, or you can stand over the doorway, lift it, and shake the dust off. The shaking is messy. Dust falls everywhere. People will see the dirt you carried. But once the dust is gone, the coat is usable again. God often works like that. He doesn't always remove the dust before the shake. Sometimes the shaking brings the dust into the open, so what's underneath can be restored, cleaned, and worn with dignity. Let me be practical for a minute. When you're paralyzed by the past, you tend to wait for perfect readiness. You think, I will start when I feel stronger, when the timing is right, when I am sure. The problem is that you rarely feel sure. Perfection becomes an excuse for inaction. So start with what you can do. Small consistency beats grand intentions. Send the message you've been avoiding. Open the document you've been postponing. Apologize to one person. Make one phone call. Choose one thing today that aligns with the direction you want to move. Tiny action builds momentum. Here's another truth you can anchor to. God does not abandon projects. That doesn't mean every plan will unfold exactly as you imagined, nor does it mean you'll be spared pain. It means that the one who sees your heart is not indifferent to the process of your becoming. God can use broken things. God often qualifies the imperfect to do the necessary work. This isn't a promise of instant fix, but it is a hope worth acting on. If God is at work, then your next step, however small, matters. You might be afraid of taking that step because you don't have all the answers. That's okay. Walking in faith does not require full certainty. A farmer plants before the harvest arrives. A parent trusts before the child is fully grown. You are allowed to move with partial vision. Faith is the posture of doing what you can with the confidence that growth happens in the doing. Now let me confront one more thing you might be whispering to yourself. I'm not worthy. I blew it too badly. That voice does not get the final say. Worth is not earned by flawless performance. Worth is discovered when you begin to act toward what is good. When you step forward, you begin to reclaim identity. You are not only defined by your failures, but also by your willingness to rise. So here is a simple, practical challenge I want to give you right now. If this message is landing where you are, if something in you stirs and says, yes, I need to change, do one small thing before you scroll away. Type in the comments exactly this: I won't give up. This isn't a ritual to make you better instantly. It's a public, humble commitment that shifts the inner conversation. Writing it out makes it real. If you're ready, write it now. I won't give up. Keep that commitment to yourself as you continue watching. Say it aloud. Whisper it. Let it settle on your tongue like a promise you're willing to try on. After you leave that comment, I want you to consider 3 short moves you can make today that require no permission, no perfect timing, and no guarantee, just obedience to the next right thing. First, forgive yourself for the part you played. Forgiveness is not pretending the wrong didn't happen. It is choosing to stop living as if the past can punish you forever. It frees energy to build. Second, adjust one small habit. Habits create future reality. Replace one negative loop with a tiny positive one.
10 minutes of focused work, 30 minutes of reading, a healthier sleep pattern. These are not dramatic in the moment, but they compound. Third, reach for community. You were not meant to do this alone. Find at least one person to tell, not to be judged, but to be supported. Accountability is not shame. It is a shelter for the soul as it rebuilds. You might be thinking, what if I try and still fail? Then try again. If you fall, that does not mean you haven't progressed. Falling can teach you balance. It can expose where you still need help and where your strength must grow. The process includes setbacks. Expect them. Don't let them be the end. Let me speak to the fear of time lost. The clock on the wall is not a verdict on your destiny. Time is a resource, not a prison. You can't resurrect the past, but you can invest the present. Begin where you are. Every brave choice you make today compounds into a future you wouldn't recognize if you keep going. Progress might be slow. That's okay. A long climb still reaches the summit if you keep taking steps. Now, if you're holding on to shame like a second skin, here is an image to hold on to. God is ready to step into your wounded place, and with patience, gentleness, and firm tenderness, begin to restore what has been broken. That restoration often looks like slow work, honest conversations, and repeated choices to trust again. It is not a magic wand. It's a steady hand. Before we close, make a personal declaration. Don't feel obligated to post it again in the comments. You already did that by writing, I won't give up. Now, quiet your mind for a moment and say to yourself, I will take one step today. Say it with conviction. Promise yourself that you will not be defined by what has already happened. Promise to keep showing up. You are not alone in this. God is with you in the process, and people are waiting to stand with you. Hold on to the hope that growth is happening even when it feels invisible. Remember, growth often comes through the furnace, but the furnace does not consume you. It refines you. If you want someone to pray for you specifically, leave your request below and we will lift it up. We will stand with you in that space. Share briefly what you need and allow others to come alongside. Community matters. I'll close with this. You were made for more than the sum of your past mistakes. There is a dignity in continuing to try. There is power in the slow, steady decision to rise. If this video found you now, let it be the moment you chose to begin again. You don't have to know the whole path. You only have to take the next step. If you want prayer, post your need below. If this landed like a lifeline, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear the same word. Keep going. Shake the dust off, take the next step. You won't give up.